Good afternoon, class, and welcome to your virtual course, Math 227. My name is Dr. Araipur, and I have been sending you a bunch of emails, announcements. And I hope you have read them. However, you're here, so let's quickly go over the course. Here's the home page of Canvas. When you start, you see numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we go by the numbers. So I'm going to quickly cover the whole thing. The first one is a welcome message. I hope you have watched that. If you haven't, I'm very happy that you're here, and welcome to your online course. Number 2 is a class philosophy. So a couple of things here. Number 1, this class is a community, and therefore we all have the same objective, which is to learn. The point being, we're all here to help one another, and students want to get in contact with each other and help each other. That would be fantastic. And of course, we do that with the utmost respect. The course objective, it is about the use of probability techniques, hypothesis testing, and predictive techniques, so on and so forth. As far as instructors' contact information, you have my email address. As some of you have seen, I answer it within 24 hours maximum. Going back to the home page. The next one is the announcements. You can click on the announcements here or on the left navigation bar right here. Either way is fine. So if I click on that, the only thing you want to make sure is that you do have the right section number when you go there. So let me go back to the home page and put this in student view before I do that, because there are tons of announcements coming up. But for now, the announcements we are interested in, they all have been sent to you. The recorded orientation, which refers to an old orientation, very similar to this course. Welcome and orientation, which refers to today's date. Exemption to orientation, if students followed and could not make it to this orientation, the explanation is here. And of course, I sent several emails welcoming you to the virtual course. So you can find them there. And then number 4. So I'm going to quickly go over the whole thing as far as number 4, and then we spend some time going over it one by one. Under number 4, so we are looking at the home page, meaning you just follow these steps. So in step number 4, we have the syllabus, which means read and explore all segments. We have the modules, where you can print the practice test. Nowadays, if you don't want to, print the practice test, you don't have to understand. That's okay. You want to watch the PowerPoints and then solve the practice test on a daily basis. All you have to do, look at 1 or 2 questions so you don't get overwhelmed by the time we get to the exam. Homework is done in my open math, again, found under the modules. Practice test solutions are there. And then we have the discussion forum, again, on the left side or left navigation bar or right here. I'll go over that in a moment. We have the sample test solution right here, and then you take the exams. I want you to pay attention to number 7. We are going to have office hours right here. This is the link, and I'm here for you from 9 to 11 on Saturdays in case there is any questions. So let's go back up, and this number 4, we're going to explore them one by one, starting with the syllabus. As you know, nowadays the syllabi are getting longer and longer. That's why I put them in this format. You have various topics. If you don't want to look at the whole thing, you can click on a topic of interest and read about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly cover every topic. The first and foremost is the section number, then student learning outcome, course objective. The text is by OpenStax. You can click on it here, or when we go to my OpenMath, I will go over that with more details. The online assignments is done by my OpenMath, and everything is provided for free. There's a class calendar, and of course, you're here for the orientation. Aside from the orientation, exam dates are set up that every exam you can take it on Saturdays. About a week before each exam, an email/announcement will be sent out that gives you the information, including the exam password is included in those announcements, emails. You can always find it in Canvas about a week in before I will send them to you. On the day of the exam, I have during my office hours, if you like, I go over the exam review. And then you have the whole day as long as you start a few hours before the expiration that takes place at 11:59. You can take the exam, and there is no proctorial. All exam reviews are already recorded and will be posted in case you don't make it to the review session. All exams expire at 11:59, and bear in mind you have to spend a couple of hours on each exam at the least. Therefore, you don't want to start it too late. I've had cases in the past that students didn't use the entire time simply because they started way too late. Then we have important dates, calculators, formula sheets. You can use both of them for the exam. Tech support for my OpenMath and Canvas and the campus, all of the above. PyShop is another name for Math Lab, and the tutoring is available, including their website for more information. As far as the grading policy is concerned, we have homework worth 200 points. And as long as it's done before the due date, sky is the limit. You can take as much time as you need. And that's why in the past, most students have received at least 90–95% on that. Review participation is the discussion board that I'll go over that 100 points. There are 5 of them, each one 20 points. There are 4 exams, 100 points, each total of 400. The final is comprehensive, 300 points. However, it's really not too bad. All you have to do is study the previous 4 exams, plus the new stuff covers about 30% maximum. So 70%, over 70% of the comprehensive final comes from your previous exams. There is no makeup policy. If something comes up that you have proper documentation accepted by campus, you can email me and I give you a makeup exam. Also, the first 4 exams, the lowest of all will be dropped and replaced by the final score percentage-wise. If the final is good, meaning at least B or 80%, and your homework is good, that means 90% or higher. And when I change the lowest grade, the result will be a higher letter grade as far as your course is concerned. Needless to say, if you miss an exam, it gives you 0. You really don't want to do late work, but if you have to, there is a late pass you can use for a 10% penalty. There is no late work for the first assignment, which is a mandatory assignment called Introduction to My Open Math, to the discussion forum or the exams. Then we have more information, time frame for exam inquiries. Basically, I will get back to you within 24 hours, and the same thing for the exams. How much time do you need to be successful in this course? This is extremely important, and I have put the website. This is from CSULB. Basically, for 1 hour, you need 3 units. This is a 4-unit course, therefore you need 12 hours outside the classroom to be successful. And you really want to pay attention to this guideline. The reason it's called CSULB 36, because normally 12 units is considered 4 times 12, 12 times 3 makes it 36. Then we have the drop-in policy. If you miss the orientation or do not register with the publisher immediately or miss the first assignment or any of the exams, basically you will be dropped. You're already here. I think you're in good shape. And then I have information about OSS and financial aids. And there are more helpful resources I've got here. And summary steps to success. Let me just quickly cover that for you. You want to study the PowerPoints in each module. You want to do the homework. You want to watch the video lectures that you find them sometimes embedded in some homework. Study the practice test and their solution. Post questions in the discussion forum. Again, I go over that and I'll show you. And if you have a question, you can send it via Canvas inbox or Canvas email, and then attend the review session or at least watch the recording and then take the exam by their due date. So for number 6, you want to either attend the review session or watch the recording. The recordings are already there just to be on the safe side. Here's the office hours, and I want to mention that office hours are posted here as well as the home page, the bottom of the home page. Okay, so I want to make sure that it is understood. And of course, email, private messages. There's something called Netiquette for online learning. I suggest you read that. In short, we really want to respect everybody. We want to be very courteous to all our fellow students. That's really the bottom line. And then, of course, this is a college course, correct spelling, grammar, positive tone. The course discussion, board guidelines, and how we can get full credit. I will go over that for you. Be respectful of others and know where you are in cyberspace. And there's a syllabus addendum. I have put it here, which basically it says, you know, how many units this course is and the prereq to that and so on and so forth. All right, so that's the syllabus. I'm going to go back, and back on the syllabus, I also have this Excel calendar, which roughly tells you where we should be at any given time, and also the exam dates. The first one is coming up in a few weeks, like week 3, and it tells you the sections that we are going to cover. So we also have the calendar. Instead of putting the calendar in the syllabus, I put it separate because I thought it would make it easier to look at it that way. All right, so that's the syllabus. The next one is the modules. There are a lot of things under the modules. I'm going to go over that and I'll come back to it one more time. But for now, just the synopsis of that. The very first thing you find here is my open math, and I can't emphasize this enough. There is no need for course ID to log into MOM. That is generally the case. However, there has been some problem with the integration of my open math. Therefore, you do need it. You visit this website, which is simply put my open math. You can even Google search it. Then you need this course ID. And then this is the enrollment key. And all you have to just copy paste it so you don't make a mistake in both cases. Okay, so you go to my open math. You need this course ID. You need this enrollment key. Normally we don't, but now we do. So let's go back to modules. So that's the first. Then these are statistics PowerPoints lecture section by section. I have those under recorded practice tests and lectures, and right here, these are PowerPoints that have been lectured on, and they are recorded. And you can find them in my YouTube channel from the very first section all the way to the end. Okay, so you can find my YouTube channel right here under the modules. Okay, you can also find it under recorded practice test. So you can find my PowerPoints. You can also find the practice test. That means there are 5 practice tests set, 5 modules, and there are 12 chapters. Going back to the modules, I'll cover that one more time at the end. I want to make sure. So what do we find under the modules? Exam 1 module, exam 2, exam 3, exam 4, and module 5, which covers the last 3 chapters, 10, 11, 12. It's not a lot of sections. And if I go over every module, they're the same. So I'm going to cover exam 1 module only. But before I do that, the very last module called formulas, TI calculator and table, you can find formulas, all the formulas that you need are here. You can find tables, statistics tables, and you can find TI calculator information. I want to explain something about this before I move on, and there are more calculators that I have explained. I have provided everything, including information about the calculator, so you don't have to pay a penny even for a calculator. On the very first page, I tell you how to download an emulator, the calculator, which looks like this. Now, sometimes it may not work. You have to try it a couple of times, but there is a YouTube video that explains how to install this free calculator. There are other, and these are some commands, there are other calculators also. So you want to pay attention to this very last module, which is a wonderful resource, everybody. These are many different calculators, including online stat calculator, okay, called Star Trek. So going back to the modules, again, the very last one, tons of resources. The first one, my open math. The next one is all the recordings of my lectures. Okay, I've mentioned it, of the recordings of my lectures and practice tests. So going back, let's look at exam 1. So what do we notice first? First and foremost, I put this practice test. Why? Because I believe if you spend a few minutes reading this, it tells you the synopsis of what you're getting yourself into for the first module. And it probably takes maybe 5 minutes of your time just to look at it. You don't have to do anything yet, but you'll see what is being covered. Then what do? Now we have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Those are the PowerPoints. So I'm going to click on one of them only, chapter 1. And it has 3 sections. You can even download them. And if you put them in slide mode, when you get to definitions or examples. On the first chapter is just definitions. It will go through it line by line. Okay, if you put it in slide mode. Okay, so that's chapter 1. The same thing happens with chapter 2. The same thing happens with chapter 3. So the very first thing was the practice test. What is the last thing under each module? This is exam 1 module covering chapters 1 to 3. I have for you the solution, not the key, the solution to that chapter test with details. And this, I put it in the form of a PowerPoint, and I have the recording on that. So in other words, right here where it says recorded practice test lectures. So we have the lectures here, and those practice tests, I put them in the form of a PowerPoint, and I lectured, and I recorded. Those are exam reviews. So a quick recap. Exam 1 module, you have the practice test. You watch the PowerPoints, you do your homework with those, and every day you try to solve 1 or 2 questions. And whenever you're done, this last one is the solution. You check with the solution, make sure your practice test is done correct, and check with the recorded practice test, which is the recording of those with maybe a little bit more details. I want to go back to the home page. So we covered the syllabus, we covered the module. As far as the homework, I'm going to come to homework and exams by looking at my open math. So I want to discuss the discussion forum, and I want to discuss the sample test. So the discussion forum, what do we find there? Number 1, we have a student bios, and I put mine as an example. So I appreciate if you put your student bios and students, your fellow students, get to know you. The next one is a frequently asked questions. I've tried to answer questions that students have in the past. And I put the questions here. If a question comes up, I will add here if it's a question that everybody can benefit from. But before you ask, perhaps you want to read this. For example, one question that always comes up, where do I find the exam password? Announcements with the exam title or email to students and have all the information, including the exam password. So there's no need to worry about the password. The passwords will be here in time. Going back to the discussion. Now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the discussion forums that are graded, and each one is worth 20 points. So I'm going to look at one of them as an example. And it says, you are required to post at least 1 question and its solution, either from practice test number 1, posted under the modules, or any source of your choice. So we want 1 question that pertains to the first exam module. You can even use the practice test, but it is important to take the following steps. Read all the posts, questions, and solutions posted by others first, and pick a different question to post. No duplication is allowed. A question with 1-word solution, 1-line solution, or definition is not acceptable and results in 0 points for the point. This gives you 10 points if it's done properly. Now, you have to write the questions and copy down the question. Show all steps using the math equation editor or embed an image solution as explained below. So you have to show your work properly. Number 2, find a similar problem online or on YouTube or Khan Academy. That gives you 5 points. And then comment or explain at least 1 classmate question that is either solved or is found online and post it. by watching it carefully in its entirety. So you want to, in essence, comment or answer somebody's student, but explain about what the question addressed and what you learned from it, and outline a few steps you learned as a result. A compliment is nice, but it's not a comment. If you just say, thank you so much, I learned a lot, that's not what I'm looking for. I have put an example here. Find the mean, median, mode, and range. I have shown you with mathematical formulas. I put everything down, explained the solution. Then I picked a similar question, and I'm commenting on somebody's YouTube post, supposedly. Again, this is just a sample. And the comment should be something that I have learned and I let others learn. Then after I explain that, okay, then I'm showing you how to use the math editor and how to embed an image. So you have to do this properly. That will give you a total of 10 plus 5 plus 5, 20 points. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 100 points. Those are easy points, class. We should be able to get. I'm going to go back to the home page. Now, the next thing here that I want to discuss before I go over my open math and go over everything is sample test solutions. What is on the left side? You really don't need that, but for some reason, if Canvas is not working, make a note of this website. You have just about everything that I have there. Here, for example, prepare for test one, that means module 1. It gives you the PowerPoint lectures that I have. Okay, it has the practice test. It has the solution to practice test and the video lectures. The point being, everything that we found here, okay, under the modules, for some reason, because sometimes it happens, Canvas may not be available, you can use this website. And there are other resources, by the way. Do you need that? Absolutely not, unless something goes wrong, as I said, with the website. So with that being the case, the last thing that remains is the homework exam and so forth, which is through my open math. And again, under the modules, the very first one, if you click, it tells you what you need to register. So that's what I'm going to register right now. So I go through the process and I register. And when I'm registered, completely done, it takes me to this website by my open math. And the very first thing at top, I want you to pay attention what's going to happen, because I'm going to go over how a homework is done by looking at the very first thing. The reason I put this at top, because it's an introduction assignment to my open math, and it will teach you how to enter, anything that you want to enter in my open math. And this has to be done immediately. So let's start with that. Now, and I just want to show you the concept of how your homework is handled and how easy it is to get 100%. So remember, first, this is really not a lot of statistics. It's just telling you how to enter and use math editor in case you need it. So the very first question, it says enter this number, right? Okay, so if I click on this area that I need to enter the number, notice what happens. It opens a math editor. So if I need a fraction, if I need a square root, if I need infinity, whatever I need. So let's just for now put this number 74.1797. So I put the number in. Okay. The next one says enter this number, but you want to round it to the nearest hundreds, which means the second one, which is 7, and I look at the third one, which is 9, and I make a decision. So it becomes 74.1. Number 7 either remains or goes up. As you know, next to it, if it's 5 or larger, it goes up. So I'm going to change the 7 to 8. This is rounding to the nearest hundreds. And division by 0. Can I divide by 0? The answer is no. So it's really undefined. They don't have it here. So they do have DNE. Does not exist. See, DNE or does not exist. Okay. So if I click on submit question, two things happens. Number one, it shows me whether I've done it right or wrong. Number two, right away, the point that I received for this, it shows for the first assignment I have received that. Okay. So my score is, take a look at my score, is 1 out of 13, and it is registered. So I go to the next one and the next one and the next one, or let's say something comes up and I have to leave and come back. So right up here, if I click on done, notice what happens. It shows the first question is done. And again, it's been registered under the gradebook for me, and the rest of them are on a template. So when I come back, I can simply resume. So right now I can resume and I go to the next question and the next question, or I can exit. This is how you take any of your homework. See, I just got 7.7% on this assignment. Needless to say, I'm going to come back and finish it. And that's exactly what you can do. That's why I said sky's the limit. You can come back and do it as long as it's done before the due date. Now, as you can see, the due date here is a couple of days. I highly recommend you do this immediately just to be on the safe side. So that's how homework is done. And I put that at top because you have to get familiar with my open math. What comes next is the exams. I'll show you, you don't have to worry about it. The week of the exam, it becomes clear what you need to do, but the exams are here and the due dates and so forth. You don't have to worry about them. You click on them and you start. It will ask you for the passport, which you don't have yet. You will have the passport sent to you, and after it is sent to you, you can also find it online in Canvas under the announcements. Then we have the course description, which is about statistics, probability, test of hypothesis, so on and so forth. And take a look at this. All content in the course module folder is in the course module folders, which include videos and sets of homework. Some videos are embedded within the homework and some can be found at the beginning of the chapter. So I want to show you all the resources you have. Number one, you notice there's a calendar here. This number 4 that you see shows 4 weeks. If I click on it and let's say change it to 2 weeks, it shows 2 weeks of work. Okay, normally 4 is a good practice, so I'm going to put it back on 4. It is absolutely up to you how you want to set it up. Now if I click on it, remember I just looked at this very first assignment here, and that's the same thing here that it shows. If I click on it, it shows up here. I can start from here or right at top, it makes no difference. And what I want you to notice is that all of this homework are clustered together on the 16th, which is the day before the first exam. What does it mean? I have to do all the homework on that day? Absolutely not. I hope you do all the homework on a daily basis. So by the time you get to this few days before the exam, you have no homework to do. Instead, you just practice with the exam review, with the practice test to get ready for the exam. So I am hoping even the whole week you have nothing to do. Make sure you do all your homework in a timely fashion. So I would start working on the homework, just one section per day. Again, do the homework way before the due date, way before the due date. If you wait until that day, you won't have time to finish it, and more importantly, you won't have time to learn. Then we have module 0, which is resources, module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to quickly show you what's module 0, and then just to show you module 1, the rest of them are the same. Module 0 contains a lot of resources, everybody. Starting with the text. If you go to this text, it brings you to this page, which pretty much has the same sections that we discussed. Okay. At least from chapter 1 to 9 is the same. And then I have up to 12, 10, and 11 is slightly different. However, it is based on this text. So this one, it's been condensed to show you the sections of interest. This one is where you go online. If you click on online, okay, you can find them here. Now, these chapters may be slightly different than what you see here. It doesn't matter. This is based on that. For example, ANOVA, which says 10.4. Here is in chapter 13. Again, we've just custom made this, but it's based on this text. And I can't emphasize this enough. This is a reference text. If you follow my notes, my PowerPoints, my recordings, you may not even need to open the text. All right, so we have the text. Then it explains about late pass, how to use a late pass, calendar, my open math, gradebook. When something expires, if you click on the grade, you can put them in a review mode and watch the homework, watch the exam, you name it. Make sure you look at these resources. Flow charts, formula sheets. These are instructor resources. Those are my resources. The table, again, you found it under the module of Canvas also. The formula sheets, PowerPoint formula sheets for all chapters. I put them also under the resources here in case you need them. Multimedia library, there is a flow chart for probability distribution, hypothesis testing. Then look at the next one. A lot of free online calculators, scientific calculator, social science website, Star Trek, statistic calculator, Poisson distribution. You name it, I have several calculators here. How to use TI calculator and Excel. Again, instructor resources here, multimedia library. This is about how to use these calculators. Again, a lot of resources. P-value calculator. More online calculators. Take a look. So many different calculators I have here. So I hope you spend a couple of minutes on these resources, and you know what? You can close it and you say, I don't need it. But everything is here. Then what you have to do? Just be concerned with the first module, never mind the rest. When you go to the first module, okay, you see those 3 chapters. If you start with the first one, it says first watch these videos, and of course report any broken links. So the videos, in addition to the PowerPoints that I have, in addition to my own recordings, these are videos that are found within my open math regarding the concept. After that, it's instructor's video lecture. Remember, you find it under the Canvas, and you can find it right here as well. And this is recommended video lectures by other professors. So my recommendation is that since you're going to watch most likely mine, make sure you watch this in red. And then if you don't want to watch anymore, just go to the homework. And remember how the homework works. The homework works just like before. And I'm going to just show you. So if you go to the homework, the same thing when you put the answer, then you can submit and then check. Here's what I want to add here. When you go to the homework, some of the homework, for example, look at the very first one. It has video 1 and video 2. If for any reason you feel lost, you can watch the videos within the homework. The next one has it too. But look at the question number 3. Question number 3, there is no need for that anymore. So I hope you realize that everything is set up that you can easily nail this. So in short, under the modules of the Canvas, you could, for example, watch chapter 1 PowerPoints. Come to my open math, go to chapter 1, the first section. I would watch these red videos, and these are again mine, and these are some more, and then start the homework. And that's all there is to it. So a quick recap for the whole thing. A welcome message, class philosophy, announcements, and everything will be there, including the exam password. We went over the syllabus. Under the modules, you can find the practice test, the PowerPoints, solution to practice test, homework, practice test solution. Discussion forum is on the left side here. Sample test solution. This is in case Canvas is not working. Otherwise, you don't need that. We have the same resources here. Then you take the exam and attend the office hours in case you have any questions. Well, happy studying. I wish you all best of luck.